culture piece. But yeah, I think it's great that we can afford that to other people. So Karen, are you good with us getting started?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I want to welcome everybody, and I'm Gail Ellingwood, past district governor 2015-16, and we are here to talk about leadership. Karen has graciously agreed to be my co-host, pushing all the magic buttons, you know, the man behind the curtain, because I am fairly new at Zoom. I mean, I'm doing Zoom with my kids, my grandkids, and my club, but I haven't done one of these as a leader yet. So that's to say ahead of time, if there's any glitches, it's Karen's fault. It's not mine, okay? Just kidding. Okay. All righty. So what I would like to do, because we have a couple of people on here who may not be familiar to everybody, we're just going to go down the list, and I'd like you to introduce yourself and your club and whatever leadership position you may be in or have been in or want to be in. And you can take a couple of minutes to do that. It doesn't have to be, you know, like wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. So I'm going to start with Marcia, and take it away, Marcia.
Well, I'm Marcia Birch, and I'm the president of the 49er Breakfast Club in Nevada City.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And welcome. Okay, and Corey.
My name's Corey Felker, president of Quincy Rotary, and I'm glad to be here.
Welcome. We're glad to have you. Tom and Robin, you're a package, so let's hear from you.
Okay, this is Tom first. Tom Milam, the president of the Rotary Club of Nevada City. And the leadership position I'm really looking forward is immediate past president.
It's really not fair. It's really not fair. Okay. Robin.
So I'm Robin Milam. I'm also with the Rotary Club of Nevada City, and I am secretary of the club. I am a past president from several years back, and I involve myself in various roles at district because I really am somewhat passionate about leadership development, and that's why I'm here tonight. I'm just really excited about learning more about Gail's perspective and thinking through more considerations around just my own leadership and leadership in general. So thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Jeffrey. Oh, we can't hear you, Jeffrey. You're muted.
President-elect of Vincoin Village Rotary.
Welcome.
Cool.
Okay, and Lindy, I know you're on here. You're blinking in and out there. I hope
That's because my computer doesn't have a video.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm Lindy Beatty. I'm with Penn Valley Rotary Club. I am assistant governor of Area 4, past president of Penn Valley Rotary Club, and past president of 49er Breakfast. A couple of, as Robin said, a number of years ago, 12, I think it was 12, 13. I've done a couple of different things at the district level, from literacy chair to service chair to co-chair for youth services.
Thank you for your service and your introduction. That was good. And Mary. And
hi, sorry about that.
That's okay.
So my name is Mary Kerner. I'm with the Ely Rotary Club. I'm the president-elect this year. I've only been in Rotary for a year, so I'm learning a lot.
So I think we met at Pre-Pets or?
No, I think that was Tracy, our president.
Okay. All right, well, welcome all the way from Ely, and this certainly made it an easier drive for you.
Especially since I'm in Elko working.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, I see that. All right, Stacy.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Stacy Graham, the current president of Auburn Gold Country Rotary. past president twice of Auburn Daybreak Rotary, immediate past assistant district governor for Area 5. I am the current vocational chair for the district and the current service chair for the district.
Wow. Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then I think that brings us to Karen.
Well, thank you, Gail. I wish I could multitask like Mary. I'm gonna have to figure out how she does that. So I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Nevada City, and I am a past president for the Rotary Club of Penn Valley, and I'm involved with the District Education Committee.
Perfect. Okay, and did I miss anyone? I think I've got everyone on the list here. So if I did miss you, shout out now. I just want to start by saying thank you again for doing this. I think this is an opportunity for us to have great conversations in the comfort of our own home, which is lovely. I am the past district governor. I was an assistant governor. I am the visioning chair currently, and very passionate about leadership. And so I'm going to share my screen now, hopefully, if I'm not just totally screwing this up. Come on, baby. Here, light my fire. There we go. All right. And voila, should be there. Is it there?
There we go. Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to open with a couple of comments. I hope that this isn't too informal for most of you, but I think that right now there's an opportunity to have discussion about leadership opportunities in our district. And I am really interested in your perspectives. Robin said she was interested in my perspective, and that was very kind, but I'm really interested in hearing from you about things like, what are the barriers to people in our clubs feeling like they're leaders? What things have worked for you to encourage you to do the many wonderful things that you've obviously listed here? So many of you have many leadership positions in our district, and those of you who are current presidents and presidents-elect, I salute you. And I would hope that you didn't fall prey to the myth that we all get selected as leaders because we missed a meeting. I find that sort of annoying and almost insulting. And I think if we have opportunities to dispel that myth, we need to do it. I know that people say it as a joke, but it's not funny. We are leaders in everything we do in Rotary, whether we're a president, president-elect, secretary, treasurer, a member. We are leaders, and it's an important characteristic, and it's something that we need to believe in. So that's my soapbox for the evening. I just want to get that out of the way because I don't find that amusing, and I can often be found calling people out on that. So I think that this is an opportunity for us to start a conversation that we will continue. And so I'd like to sort of just give you my background on, oh, sure, Gail, press the right button. Okay, my background on, at a very high level on what we've done about leadership in this district. I'm in a position right now that says I'm the chair of the leadership committee, which currently is pretty much a committee of one. And so for all of you who are looking for additional activities and fun, I would love to talk to you about joining this committee. It really started out helping the district governor line obtain good candidates for committee chairs. You'll see down at the bottom, it says we have a spreadsheet with names of past, current, and future committee chairs. That's been built over several years. It is a document that's available. It is pretty much compiled from names from past district governors and past presidents. So we've asked past district governors to, say, hey, who were standouts during your year as president, understanding that typically those people are just finishing up their president year, and many of them don't want to just jump right back into leadership at the district level. However, excuse me, we do that, and we compile this list, and then we have another spreadsheet that I've been compiling that has people who weren't in any of those positions, but people who are of interest because of things that they've done at the district level or things that they've done at their club. One of the most fun things that I've done recently was 2 years ago at the Zone Institute, which hopefully many of you are familiar with the fact that we are in a zone with 20 plus other clubs on the West Coast, and zones, I think it's 26 and 27 now, isn't it, Karen? Is that the right numbers? Okay. We changed our numbers because we added some Denver clubs and some Midwest clubs. Okay. So our Rotary director at that point was really committed to figuring out how to help districts do leadership better. I mean, just that's basically it. So the first year, I got to work on a program where we talked to the people who were attending the zone about what their districts do. Do they have a formal leadership program? Do they rely primarily on the programs like Rotary Leadership Institute? Do they, are they developing it? So we had that discussion, and then it turned out the next year, there was so much interest that he wanted to have a discussion with people about how we could help the clubs do that better. And I think some of you were there. I'm pretty sure Robin attended. Didn't you, Robin?
Yes,
Okay.
I did. I was at
Okay.
2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was a great session.
Okay. So there was hope. Obviously, you know, we hate reinventing the wheel in Rotary, and there was hope at that point that it was going to continue on into the next Rotary Directors year, which it did a little bit, but I'll be perfectly candid and say that there was not a lot of continuity. So we have some resources that we developed, really nice presentations and discussions about what other districts have done, and we can leverage those. So I'll just throw that out there, that it's there, and that's part of the continuing discussion, is how do we build up an archive of information that we can leverage to help our clubs do leadership better. And I'm sorry if I'm, you know, do leadership is kind of a funny word, but that's what it is. We're trying to help our clubs be the best leaders that they can be, and also take advantage of all these fabulous resources that are out there. Okay, so now I think I'm going to ask a question, and the question, don't raise your hand yet, but the question is, do you think the district is doing enough to foster leadership in clubs? And if you would just hold on 1 second so I can get to my, I think you, if you would raise your hand with the little raise hand button, that's, do you all know where that is? Okay, I see hands are coming up. Okay, so I'm going to give you a second, raise your hand and leave it up. And if you don't think that the district is doing enough to foster leadership in clubs, then obviously I don't want you to raise your hand. But if you can't figure out how to raise your hand, then you need to just let me know. Okay, Corey, thanks for raising your hand. I see that. All right, so we have
You have me as well, but for some reason oh, there it is. Excuse
there it is.
Me. There it is.
Okay. All right. So we're split about half and half, which is a pretty good distribution. And what I would like to do now is to just give you an opportunity to, you can take your hand down if you know how to do that too now. So I would like to give a couple of you, or however many we need to, an opportunity to say what you think our district does really well in that category. And for those of you who did not raise your hand, I realize that it may be you don't know what the district does to help you in that category, but that's pretty much if we haven't gotten the word out, then that's not a good thing, is it? So, so would anyone like to sort of say, what do you think our district does really well in helping clubs in the leadership development category? Anybody? Stacy.
I'll go for it. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The training is some of the best that you can get. And it's not just for Rotary. It goes for business, personal life, how to handle conflicts. We have some amazing trainers that are facilitators now, we shall call them, that are approachable, kind, considerate, take in all these different ideas. This district thinks outside the box and they're trying to break out of that box, but the training has to be some of the best that you can get. And if you're a Rotarian, it is of no cost. There are companies out there that would pay a lot of money to have the training, and there's other districts that do not get the training we get.
Perfect. Thank you, Stacy. You just took the words right out of my mouth, so it's good that someone else said it. However, I think, is there someone on here who would like to speak about either not knowing about the training or not feeling the same way?
Actually, if I can go.
Yes,
go
Mary.
Okay, so like I said, I'm fairly new. I've only been there about a year. And one of the things that our president, Tracy, and I have talked about is kind of the lack of communication that we have within our club, because we have some members that have been there, most of them for a really long time. So they just assume that we all know what's going on, and we do not. we really do not know. So I guess my question would be, how do we get on some type of a mailing list or an email list so that we know what's going on, or newsletters, or is that information posted somewhere that we can get to ourselves?
Okay, so when you say, let me just delve into that a little bit more. So you say that many of the older club members know what's going on, but you don't. So the information that you're looking for is well, what?
So about the trainings, and like, I just kind of happened upon this one for tonight by accident, honestly. And so I asked Tracy, hey, are you hopping on for that? And she said, no, I have to work. And I said, okay, well, I'll be in Elko, but I'll be in my room by then, so I'll hop on. So we're kind of trying to do things together as we navigate through. We have a great group, don't get me wrong. They're just kind of beyond all of this, I guess.
Okay, okay. And how did you know to hop on? Did you get an email?
Yes, I actually got onto the website and created an account. And then this was like the first email that I got. So maybe I'm already going the right direction.
You are going in the right direction. Yay. Okay. But that's really important to know that you needed to do that. So welcome. I'm so glad you came. I later in the slides do want to talk a little bit about club culture, because I think club culture is a barrier, and the exact kind of club culture that you're talking about, we have in my club. It's an older club. It's, 100 years old or whatever, 75 years old, I guess. And we have older members who feel like they do have the caveat on, oh, well, this is how things work and this is how we do it. And so maybe we can talk a little bit about some innovative ways to break that barrier. But it is a barrier. There's no question about it. So I'm glad that you're in the stream. We'll talk a little bit about resources in a little bit. But one of the things I didn't put on my list, you mentioned, and that's the district website. That thing is so valuable and so important for you all to be cued into it. That's where everything shows up. And we right now have an amazing team working on it and keeping it up to date. I was on a membership call this morning, and the things that are being added to this website could be a little daunting, could be a little overwhelming because, you know, there's a lot of information, but for sure, you want to make sure that not only are you tuning into it, but somehow, if you can, disseminate some of that to your club members, whether it's putting it in a newsletter or an email to them, or just mentioning at a meeting. We do have lots and lots of members who are not in touch with the website. There's no question about that. So, so kudos to you for that. And hopefully tonight we can break the logjam for you and make sure that you get information about all the trainings, because they're on the calendar there. This whole thing that we're doing now with leadership learning leadership assembly is so important, and we'll chat a little bit more about that. But these informal, if you will, webinars are just going to make you feel like, you know, the information is right there in front of you instead of having to drive from Elko to Reno. Okay, another comment about availability or the success of the district to get the information to the clubs for leadership development. Anyone?
Gail, it looks like we have Robin Milam with her hand up.
Okay, Robin, go for it.
And Tom.
The district offers a lot of programs, from RLI divisioning to the Leadership Learning Assembly to we've been doing Avenues of Service and pre-pets, and probably more than a lot of districts offer. But I think the challenge that we face is it's a balancing act. I think we focus, I'm watching Tom right now with the overload in information and the number of emails, Rotary emails that he's getting from all over the place. And we look to our presidents for a lot of assistance in the communication of what's coming out. And I think there's a balancing act that finding more broader scope ways of being sure that the rest of the club members are getting the information and not having everything go, or not having as much of a focus on the president's communicating what's happening.
Really, really well said, Robin. Tom, you have your hand up as well.
Yeah, Robin covered some of the points that I did, things like RLI. I can speak from my experience when I was selected as the president-elect for this coming year, how quickly I was brought online with the amount of information that was available. And of course, this was a new year for the Far West Pets, where a great deal of the study was done in webinars and using the Rotary Learning Center. So there was a great effort made to get that information out. I took it on myself to pass that information on and share it with the with my club. In fact, our weekly newsletter we call the Rotario. So my intent is to have this week's Rotario talking about how the learning opportunities, the communications opportunities that are available, because you can mention them to the members, but you have to keep mentioning them and keep mentioning them and keep mentioning them. Every once in a while, they'll start saying, oh, are you going to talk about LLA or Learning Center again? Well, yes, I am, because it's something that's valuable to you. So I don't want to beat a dead horse with it, but there's so much out there, so much available, and it is up to the president and to the leadership of the club, the board, the secretary, et cetera, to help the members understand what's there. So for relative newcomers such as Mary, I encourage you to, you're doing the right thing already in working directly with your president, but there's a wide range of things out there and available to you. Just start poking around. Get yourself an account on My Rotary through rotary.org and poke through there. Make sure you're in the District 5190, and if your club has a website, make sure you're registered on that. And there's just a huge amount of information.
Thanks, Tom. Okay, so yeah, everyone has touched on something that's been a discussion point in this district, and I'm sure many, many districts, is that there is a lot of information. We do, I think, do a really great job in training, but the information overload can be painful. And we do try to encourage, and you've all heard this from, I'm sure, District Governor Berta, and we try to encourage that the areas of your club membership, public image, that have chairs, that they get registered on our website. Because if they're in Club Runner, which is what most clubs use to get this information organized, then they're going to get the information directly. So Mary, you wouldn't be getting, you know, all of the information that comes out unless the president is the only one that's on the website, and then boom, it's a fire hose and you're gonna get it all. And it's gonna be hard for you to disseminate. But if you start a little bit of delegation and get your chairs to sign up, and this is the whole leadership thing again, you know, if they're gonna be a membership chair, they need to sign up on the website and get the information, and then hopefully they would be coming to you saying, hey, there's this thing on there that we need to pay attention to, and, you know, can I talk about it at a meeting or whatever. So that is one way to disseminate that information. So I'm interested in, for those of you who are presidents-elect and new presidents, if you have further thoughts about this, about how we get the information to you, yes, go ahead, Corey.
So I forwarded your email to the entire club. I did a copy and paste to the links for tonight's one, and also public image. What is that, August 12th? So I copied those and forwarded on to the entire club. And you know, if I was a regular member, I would want to have an idea what's going on, and I think that would be better transparency. And just for the other members, especially for the board members, we want them to do the seminar for their position, but it also gives a chance for other members to get involved and have a say, and so that they don't go out the back door.
That is so great. And so if you have the ability to do that, to let your members know, it's really an important thing. I think that there are some presidents who get swamped and they just aren't, you know, always paying attention to those details. But thank you for sharing that. So we're going to move on. Oh yeah, Jeffrey?
Jeffrey, and also Robin has her hand up.
Okay, Jeffrey, go ahead.
Our bylaws require the officers be appointed, I guess, in April for the coming July. And I plan on emailing each officer with a link to the relevant stuff saying, hey, your job is to get that training on this particular site. So I think rather than just tell people, go to the website, push it out.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, and who had their hand up? Karen, I'm sorry.
Robin was just remiss in putting her hand down. It's all right.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that. And again, this is an open conversation, not just with this group, but whenever you come up with an idea for how to help with this information overload and the dissemination of information to your leadership team, please share it. Share it with Berta. Share it with me. We are always trying to fine tune this. There is you may not see this, but in the background, there is a very stringent process of how information gets disseminated out to you, because we don't want to send, you know, hundreds of emails to the president every week. And so there's a decision process about which, you know, information is going to be packaged, how it's going to be packaged, and how you're going to get it. But you always have the ability to go to the website and get your own information. I mean, that is true as well. All right, back to the slideshow. Thanks so much for participating in that. And let's see what our next, okay, so this is going to be a personal, again, sharing as well. What do you think is the biggest thing holding club members back from feeling that they are leaders or leadership material? And it kind of goes back to our, oh, well, I'm a new member and boom, 3 months in, I got selected to be president because everybody else in the club has been president 3 times and there's nobody else to be president. And that's really not a great way to come in. I mean, I'm sure you all agree that we, in the best of all possible worlds, there might even be like a moving up through, secretary, treasurer, or membership chair, whatever, up to being president-elect. But I wonder if any of you would be candid enough to share what you think are our barriers to getting members to step up. So I'm trying to, okay, stop share. All right, here we go. Okay, so anybody?
I can share a little bit about my club.
Okay, Marcia, please do.
Of course, like a lot of clubs, we have trouble getting people to volunteer to be the president. And when I first joined, my kids were small, and so I just would say, oh, when the kids get a little older. And then when they got older, I was like, oh, well, they have a lot of activities, I'll do it later. And so it just kept, all of that kept happening. And then finally I thought, there's no optimum time to stand up and say, I'm going to be the president.
Yeah.
Just jumped in and did it. But I've learned a lot, talking to other people. We do have someone in line behind me, which is a miracle.
Yay.
Very grateful for that. But I do think, and someone mentioned it just a few minutes ago, that I don't think that most of our members, if you said to them, do you consider yourself a leader? Particularly as it relates to the club, I think they would say, no, not really.
Yeah.
They see themselves in that way. And I think that they are leaders in the community. And if you, kind of shifted their perspective a little bit, they might say, oh yeah, I guess I am a leader. And then, kind of how that progresses. But I've been thinking a bit about how to get that message out to each member that in your own way, you are a leader. And so each Rotary president is going to bring something different to that task, right? I don't think of myself as I've never, been a CEO of a company or, done what we ordinarily think of as leadership sorts of things. But it's working and I'm figuring it out. So, I mean, I think people, I think they just don't necessarily view themselves in that way. So I talk about it. I just I throw it in during the meetings about how we are all leaders in our community and in this club. And so I'm just hoping that message will just sort of sink in over time as I keep saying it.
And I guarantee you it will. So Marcia, that is so telling and so spot on. We need to talk about it. We need to not shy away from it. People will say, oh yeah, no, I'm just an artist. I just do stuff for PI or whatever. No, we are all leading our club towards doing great things in the world. And so I am so thrilled that you mentioned this and that you talked about having a conversation about this. I hope that everybody leaves this tonight and goes to their next meeting and says, hey, did you know we're all leaders? Did you know that? It sounds simple, but we face, as I've said, we face lots of barriers towards this, but one of them is convincing people that they are valuable, that they are leaders, that they can make a change in their community. And that's what we do every day. Rotarians do that every day. So there isn't a person in your club who can say, I'm not a leader. Who else would like to weigh in on this? That really fired me up. Marcia, thanks. I like that.
You have Tom
Stacey.
Milam with his hand up, and then Robin. And
I'll
it looks
go
like
Stacey, then Tom and Robin. Thanks.
So up.
Stacey, you're up.
Yeah, Robin, Tom, be careful about how daunting all these emails get out to your club, because that's what I hear is I don't have time to do all the stuff that you're up to. And a lot of times I say, you don't have to do everything I do. That is my side gig and I love it. But you don't have to do that. But because of stepping up and doing presidency for the third time, owning 2 businesses and everything else that I get to do in the district, that is such an honor. We have the next 3 presidents lined up and they have all turned down the job for the past 5 years. Because they said, how are we supposed to tell Stacy we don't have time?
Wow. Okay. Well, you're a shining star. You're a shining star example. So good job. All right. Robin. Are you there? Oh, Tom's talking, but he's not talking. I can't hear him.
No, I'm not talking. I see Robin, but she's muted.
Okay. So the point I just wanted, 2 things. One is I think there is a tendency for presidents and past presidents to talk a lot about how much work it is. I mean, it is a big role, but
yeah.
One of the things that I experienced my year as president was my relationship with my community shifted. And I suspect those of you that are presidents this year, you're going to come to the end of the year and realize that your relationship with the community has shifted. That Rotary, you're much more visible, or I found myself being much more visible in ways that I never would have been had I not been president of the club. And it's now just, I take a lot of pride, in fact, that I was president. And yeah, I mean, it took a lot of time, but it was also a ton of fun, and we did good things, and all of our clubs are doing really good work. So
Excellent.
I just feel really good about that.
Thank you. And we should take pride. It's all about, discovering what we contribute to our community. So that's a fabulous thing. So Tom, you still have your hand up. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
We have almost, I don't know if it's really a unique situation, but we have a club that has several past district governors, a bunch of past presidents, not only of our club, but of other clubs from where people lived previously, district chairs, current and past district chairs. So we have a lot of people that are leaders. They've showed their leadership. And for some of them, it's, okay, well, I've done my part. Now it's time for someone else to pick up the load. So that's a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, it is a challenge. And I'm just going to make a note about that because I didn't really have a discussion point about that, but I have some thoughts on that. So that might be in our next thing, because you know what? We don't stop being leaders. We don't like, oh, I did my thing and so now I'm done, because we can't stop doing good in the world. But that's a really good point, Tom. So thank you for bringing that up. All right, we're going to jump back to the, get out of there. Okay, sorry. Like, I can do this. All right, the next discussion point, because things are moving on here quite quickly. All right, so here's some thoughts I just threw up here. We have challenges in this category of how's the district going to help you make the best leaders in your club. I think we've already chatted about club culture. It's an issue. It is one of the reasons why I just throw out there now, I'm on this membership team with Karen's husband, past district governor, Doug McDonald, and we are seriously thinking about how we can transcend some of these issues by making new clubs. And this hasn't always been something that the district has embraced, greatly, but clubs that might have a focus that people are interested in. For instance, we have a new area of focus coming up next year about the environment. We know that lots of people are passionate about the environment. Maybe there's a club, in some future that's an environmental club or a peace club or a language club, or I'm just throwing these out here because we have to find ways to break out of some of these stereotypes that we're in. There's just no way around it. We are having trouble getting young people into our clubs because we have lots and lots of people who are used to doing things in a particular way. So I'm not saying that these are the answers, but I think that you need to have these conversations in your clubs. Especially as presidents and presidents-elect, if you are running up against things like, you know, our club is 75 years old and they do everything the same way all the time. And our members are all 75 years old and they all do everything the same way. And our culture is not one that's adaptable, and that is becoming really critical in our space, to be adaptable and flexible. Look at us, we're doing Zoom calls instead of meetings. You know, we have to be adaptable. So I'm just going to throw that out there. If we could have a couple-minute discussion, if anybody has some, like, if you have the magic button, I want to know what it is for how you transcend a club culture that's very stiff and inflexible. If you don't, and you share some of this frustration, maybe you could express that as well. So anybody have a thought they want to share on this?
It looks
I
like
do.
Robin and then Lindy Beatty.
Her name is Stacy Graham. She is the vocation, passion of the universe. And every club should have Stacy speak to their club, and because she demonstrates in everything she does, especially in communicating with the clubs, about how important valuing and recognizing and integrating and taking advantage of the various vocations that are represented in our club. I mean,
Well said. Well said. Thank you, Rob.
Marcia, I hope you're jumping up and down with the new focus on supporting the environment, because it's right up your, you know, it's part of your passion. But anyway, so that's my recommendation. And her video from the session a week and a half ago is online, but
available to all of you.
Available.
So yes,
Yep.
go see it. All right, Lindy Beatty.
I think that the focus on looking at other areas that people have interest in, I always find that in my years working in nonprofits, because I work a lot with volunteers, and it's really helping someone find their passion within your organization, and maybe not necessarily calling it leadership. I think that's kind of a outdated word. When I was working for the American Electronics Association, we used that a lot with Tom Peters and kind of going through leadership training and all that kind of stuff. And I think the word leader can be off-putting to people. So I think that finding where people's passions are, and that's what I like about the new emphasis on different areas. I'm working with President Pamela's granddaughter, who's a RILA alumni, to see if she can't bring together RILA alumni on an e-club basis. Now, this is nothing new. I read about this in the Rotarian. There's a club in Maine that does this. And so I've talked to John Paul in our area about peace, about maybe, you know, having peace conferences or peace, you know, initiatives or whatever in our area. And so I think that that's very wise to look at the different areas of focus to see if we can't coalesce people who have an interest in that area. And then, you know, I think it's, like I said, I think it's also daunting, kind of the leaders, that word leader.
Okay, that's fair.
All on you, but I think that the avenues is a good idea. Their service, focus is good.
Thank you, Lindy. Okay, Stacy.
Well, we have the perfect opportunity right now to change club cultures. Never has a group of people faced the challenges that we are facing right now. Your major fundraisers are getting canceled due to you just can't do it. So I personally got thank you'd by a bunch of past presidents and said, thank goodness that you're our president through this, because they kept telling me, well, we've always done it this way. We've always done it this way. And I said, well, that way is not going to work this year. Sorry. We have to get out of the box. We have to think of new inventive fundraisers, things that we can do. We have to keep meeting. How are we going to do that? We're going to hybrid. I think our club was the first hybrid meeting there was.
Nice.
And so how do you do all this?
Right.
Now's our opportunity to show people you can change the culture and the style of the club, and it's going to be okay, because you're going to have to this year. Unfortunately, that is what you guys are all up against, is we all have to change. So your clubs have got to go with it. Otherwise, they may disintegrate this time.
Thanks, Stacy. And so it is, and so one of the important things for us on this call is to focus on how we provide the support for that to happen. And I hope that we can continue to do that through more of these discussions. We're going to, let's see, here we go. Oh boy. All right, we're getting towards the end, and I'm so excited by everybody's participation and how we've talked about some stuff here. I'm not sure it went exactly the way I thought it was going to go, but that's okay. This is the opening salvo, and we want to continue this. For those of you who may not know, this is just a really brief list of some of the leadership resources that we have in this district. We have, and I'm going to apologize because I know I've already left out a couple, but Rotary Leadership Institute, of course, pre-PETS and PETS, any training we do on avenues of service, the Leadership Learning Assembly, which I can't emphasize enough to you all to be leveraging this. I mean, Corey, so great that you sent this out. Keep sending out the links to your members. Anybody we can get on here to spread the vision and the ideas about you know, how important it is that we do this. I'm behind it. Of course, district conference. We have club visioning, which I'm the chair of, and right now is in a little bit of a hiatus because we are trying to figure out how to do the new visioning. Just got some great emails today from some other districts who are doing it via Zoom, which is not something that I am prepared to do at this moment, but we are going to get it done. Rotary Academy is still there for people who want to learn the basics. For people who are ready to jump in with both feet, we have district governor information sessions. We have the thing that I did want to mention, and I'm going to thank Karen for this, is also to remind you that we have a partnership now with Toastmasters. I don't even know what that looks like, but for people who are interested in developing their personal speaking skills, this is unheard of because, you know, Toastmasters is the Toastmaster of the speaking world. So I'm going to emphasize again what Stacy said at the beginning, that we offer trainings that you would pay large dollars for in other venues of your lives. I can't emphasize enough how much you would pay to go to a president-elect training seminar that teaches you how to speak, how to organize, how to delegate, how to, you could pay a lot of money for that in the corporate world, and people have. So this may, I don't know, is this a little bit like a fire hose tonight? All this information, we're just talking about disseminating information, and here we are shooting it all at you again. But this is to get the conversation going. My email is here someplace. It's there, so you all know how to get a hold of me. I would welcome any phone calls, discussion, you know, ideas for our next meeting. I plan on doing another one of these in a little bit. Let's just, I'll open it up here at the end for any closing comments someone might want to make about something we might have omitted or overlooked. But I am so thrilled that we had this conversation tonight. Anybody have anything they'd like to say? Okay, I've worn you all out, haven't I? I've just blasted you into the past. Okay.
Great job, Gail.
Thank you.
Fun.
Thank you. And I'm serious. Let's keep this going. Let's talk, all of you. We have a nice little group here. I'm glad to have met some of you that I didn't know before. And I'm always available for chatting about leadership. So have a great evening and go out and do good in your world.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Gail.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Gail.
everyone.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Ciao.
Thank you, Karen.
Night, Gail.
Night.